Welcome to the training module. Much like a hotel, we put our guest families first and want their visit to be a pleasant experience for them. We know that the first impression is the most important, and so we train our volunteers to be excellent representatives of our house and our awesome customer service specialists. Our front desk is a guest family's first point of contact with our house. Families may interact with us by phone or in person. They may be coming to check in or to ask for directions. Whatever a family needs, we are here to help in a cheerful, friendly, and accommodating way. Your bright smile and friendly voice are the most important tools for a great front desk experience. Just like any front desk or reception area, there are a few pieces of equipment you'll need to know how to operate. This presentation will give you an overview of those items, but take advantage of your shadow shift to practice working with them. You'll find that your fellow volunteers are your best asset when learning to work with the phones, doorbell, and other front desk technologies. As the front desk volunteer, you will be the first contact our visitors make at the house. The safety of our guests is a top priority. Therefore, we keep our doors locked at all times and require that visitors ring a bell and request admittance before being allowed into the house. In order to treat every visitor and guest kindly and consistently, we always answer the doorbell with, "Welcome to the Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte. May I have your name and the purpose of your visit, please?" Once you ascertain the reason for the visit, you may use the buzzer to unlock the door and admit the guest. You will have a chance to practice this during your shadow shift. There are dozens of reasons someone might ring our bell. It could be a guest family coming to check in, a friend of a guest coming to say hello, a donor coming to make a gift, a volunteer coming to bake cookies, a board member coming for a meeting, or any other reason. Remember that we are welcoming first. We never know why someone is there until we ask. Don't be afraid or ashamed to ask them to declare their purpose. Most people appreciate the efforts we take to keep our guests safe. Once the visitor is in the house, we'll need to give them the proper credentials and get them signed in. You will practice the different ways to check in a guest or a visitor during your shadow shift, but the most frequent thing you'll do is ask the visitor to sign in on the appropriate visitor log or volunteer sign-in sheet and provide a green visitor tag. There are several visitor logs, which are clipboards for volunteer sign-in sheets, notebooks for guest family visitors, and more. Please take time during your shadow shift to review them all. Every person in the Ronald McDonald House must have on either a guest, volunteer, or visitor tag at all times. Visitors of guest families must be escorted in the house at all times, either by a volunteer or by a member of the guest family. You may need to call the guest family room to ask someone to come and escort their visitor. Tour groups and volunteer work groups must also be supervised at all times, usually by a house operations volunteer. The primary rule is that if a person is wearing a green visitor badge, they need to be in the company of a guest or a house operations volunteer at all times. When a guest family arrives for the first time, they will need to complete guest orientation and check-in. We want this process to be comfortable and smooth for them, and that begins with their welcome at the front desk. If someone tells you that they are here to check in, you'll need to welcome them warmly, invite them to have a seat shortly while you call for help, and try to make them your top priority. You will need to call an additional house operations volunteer to support you. You will have a chance to practice a check-in with your trainer during your shadow shift. You will also have access to the guest check-in checklist tool, and that will make this process easier. One of the most important and frequent tasks at the Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte is answering the phone. This can be intimidating at first for new volunteers, but gets easier quickly with practice. The most important thing to keep in mind is that having a smile on your face translates to having a smile in your voice. This is often the first connection that people will have with our house, so try to be cheerful and friendly. When answering the phone, please use the following language. Thank you for calling the Ronald McDonald House. This is Ari. How can I help you? If another line begins ringing while you're on a call, don't worry. There is an automated response that will pick up the call while you assist the caller that called first. Your primary task at the front desk is to connect the caller with the appropriate member of staff or the appropriate guest. Please do not take messages by hand for anyone. Each staff person and guest family has their own voicemail box. Allowing callers to leave a voicemail message ensures that their message will be delivered clearly and concisely. During your shadow shift, you will practice answering and transferring calls. You will also have access to a photo directory of staff to help you know more about using the phone. Many people coming to our house will be bringing donations, so it's important that you know how to accept a gift. It is our goal to make sure that all donors feel really good about giving to our house, so your cheerful attitude and sincere thank you are your best tools. We can accept donations of most brand new items. We can also accept some gently used items. As a general rule, we accept everything that comes into the house. If we can't use it in the house, we put it on our Free for Families table for our guests to take. The one thing we cannot accept are homemade food items. Our rules for serving food in the house are very strict and are limited to things prepared on site at the house or commercially prepared items, such as cookies from a bakery. When a visitor brings you a donation, you'll need to get a copy of the donation receipt form. You will have a chance to practice filling out a donation receipt form during your shadow shift. Donations may include food, cleaning supplies, money, gift cards, and other items. You will accept the items from the donor and work with the donor to complete the donation receipt form. Try to be specific about how the gift will be used if you can. Front desk volunteers are also responsible for occasional administrative support, which is a loose term that means helping the staff with a wide array of projects. This could include data entry, arts and crafts, writing thank you notes, organizing donations, and much more. If you are uncomfortable completing any activity, just let us know. We will never ask you to do something that makes you feel awkward or uncomfortable. Remember, too, that helping with administrative tasks is always the least important of the front desk volunteers' duties. We always put people first. Be sure to turn your attention to guests and visitors in person and on the phone ahead of completing tasks. Are you wondering how you'll remember all of this? Don't worry, we have lots of resources for you. During your shadow shift, you'll have the chance to review checklists and copies of all of the forms mentioned in this video. You'll also want to take advantage of your shadow shift to locate many items at the front desk. For example, we keep a first aid kit, flashlights, batteries, and more at the front desk. Use your shadow shift to open all of those cabinets and explore. Congratulations! You've just completed the front desk training module. Remember, you will have a chance to practice most of the front desk tasks and skills with your trainer during your shadow shift. You'll also have plenty of opportunity to ask questions from fellow volunteers and staff. We're here to help you, and it is never too late to ask for clarification or more practice. There's just a few videos left to go.